What is the name of the secret finale scene? Who is Alana? Why $3.2 million? And what do Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse have to say in their mea culpa to Rebecca Mader? We'll have all that and more in today's official Lost audio podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We're here today with executive producers Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse to pre-hash our upcoming episode entitled Whatever Happened, Happened, which airs Wednesday, April 1st at 9 p.m. And, more importantly, they are also here to reveal the top 13 finalists in the Name the Secret finale scene thingy that we're doing. For those of you who got in, congratulations. And for everyone else, that's okay. They were all good entries. We enjoyed reading them and sifting through them. We'll have those 13 finalists coming up and your opportunity to vote on them. Here now are Damon and Carlton.
Hello, Damon.
Hi, Carlton.
What's going on?
Man, I am so excited to be here doing a podcast with you. That's what's going on.
Well, I am too. Okay, so we're going to start by issuing a podcast apology and a mea culpa to Rebecca Mader, a wonderful actress who was on our show, and we messed up.
We should have a segment called Our Bad, and you need to find a sound, Chris, that sounds like wah, wow. So it goes, Our Bad, wah, wow, and now... Rebecca, we are very sorry. We had our facts absolutely wrong about our information in the last podcast. What happened is when we originally were auditioning for Charlotte, we were bringing in actresses in their late 30s and early 40s. We wrote the first draft of Confirmed Dead. Charlotte was born in 1970 or 71. When we cast Rebecca and wrote the script, Greg Nations, our continuity expert, came in, basically said to us, Rebecca Mader was actually born on July 2nd, 1979. Let's just use her birthday. We said, sure, and we misremembered the story as having come from Rebecca because they were, in fact, shooting the scene the next day. So Rebecca never read a page that didn't say 1979.
Right. And she did an awesome job on the show and, in fact, won the part over a bunch of actors who were older. Because we loved her so much, we actually reconceived what we thought the character should be because we so much wanted to have Rebecca on the show.
She wasn't even British, in fact, Charlotte, at first.
Correct, exactly.
So it's our bad. We apologize, and we're moving on now.
So we're going to do like an incredibly quick rehash.
Rehash.
Episode 510. He's our
your.
You.
He's our your is what it says here.
He's our your, Chris? Really?
He's our your.
Really?
There are a couple of very interesting things that happen in this episode.
Yeah.
Aside from the shocking ending, obviously there's this woman, Alana, who says that she's working for the family of this guy, Peter Avellino. Do you believe that, Carlton? Is it just that simple? Saeed is captured by a bounty hunter and just happens to be booked on Ajira Flight 316?
I don't think anything on our show is just that simple, sadly.
Right.
But I think there might be some measure of truth to it, but it might not be the full story.
Right. And have you ever been kicked in the face by a stiletto boot?
No, I can say that...
Why did you put that here, Chris? That's a very weird thing to ask.
That experience... Have you been kicked in the face by a stiletto boot? Have you taken a girl home from a bar after buying her $120 glass of scotch and then been kicked in the face in a stiletto boot?
It wasn't the face.
Excellent.
The other big issue in that episode, of course, Saeed shot a 12-year-old. Are we condoning this sort of behavior?
No, but I mean, look, he thought young Ben. I mean, it's like if you had a chance to kill young Hitler, would you kill young Hitler? Would you feel remorse about killing the 12-year-old who, if you knew for certain he was going to grow up to be Adolf Hitler? You might say that there's a good opportunity to change the course of time. The question really is, what's going to happen as a result of Saeed shooting that kid?
Yeah, well, I would say, what if I try to shoot young Hitler and I fail, and then as a result of me trying to shoot him, that's what made him into Hitler?
The fact that he shot young Ben in the next episode is called Whatever Happened, Happened.
Chris got that one right, thank God. These are not easy titles. He's our your, whatever happened, happened.
He's our your, he's our you.
All right,
so whatever happened, happened. Now, that seems to imply that basically this notion of time travel being non-paradoxical and the future non-changeable, that title sort of implies that, doesn't it, Damon?
Yes,
or is
it does.
Ironic?
Well, I think what's interesting is that the characters have sort of fundamentally accepted that this rule is true, and nobody's tried to challenge it yet before Saeed. So Saeed has now shot young Ben. He's challenging the rule, and we just have to see what happens. is a parallel universe going to be set up, or is Faraday's theory that
Universe course corrects.
Yes, let's find out. So it feels, Carlton, like the show is settling back into this modality of being character-centric. We just did a Saeed episode. Are we going to be continuing that trend?
Well, we're going to be continuing Saeed's story, but in fact, this is a Kate episode.
Ooh. So we're going to get some flashbacks or something?
We are going to get some flashbacks.
Oh, that's exciting, because there's some things about Kate that I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know why she came back to the island myself.
Oh, interesting. Like before she showed up and like was crying in Jack's room and then like made out with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, what could upset someone and also turn them on at the same time? Maybe getting kicked in the face with a boot.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
right.
I think we should do questions first before we get to the biggie.
Yeah, we haven't actually even teased the fact that we are going to announce the finalists in the...
Semifinalists.
Semifinalists.
Let's drag this out as long as we can, like American Idol.
Now, what's cool about this is that we have not pre-flighted each other about our choices. So we each reviewed... Chris and 1,000 trained chimpanzees actually sorted through all of your submissions, and they picked what they thought were the top 100. Damon and I each separately looked at the top 100, and we each have picked our favorites, which we're going to share live with each other. We have not actually shared these with each other. We're going to do that live right here on this podcast.
Oh, my God. The excitement is killing me. Let's get into questions.
Okay, questions. Damon, are we going to ever find out about that four-toed statue? This is from Tara in Omaha, Nebraska.
Are we ever
simple question.
Are we ever going to find out about it? Well, we saw its back in the beginning of LaFleur. I think we will be seeing more of it before the season is over. I think that's all I can really say at this point.
Can you say one more thing? Are we going to be seeing enough of it for the audience to maybe figure out exactly what it was a statue of?
Yes. I think that they will see enough of it now. They will combine with the information from seeing it from behind and seeing more of it at the before the season is out. They should be able to deduce exactly what the statue is of.
Awesome.
That's pretty
cool.
That you heard it here first.
Okay.
Carlton, why did Ben kill Locke? Says Alicia Gray from Dharmaville, Colorado. Something tells me that is not where she is from. What was the point? Was it a power trip thing he had over Locke? Why didn't he just let Locke do it himself? Did Ben want one last victory? And is Locke going to go all kung fu on Ben soon for doing that? Help me, boys, please.
Wow. Those are all really good questions, and I would hate to be too specific in answering them other than to say the show will be addressing your questions, we feel, quite specifically coming up. And Ben himself will have a lot to say about what his motives were for killing Locke, and I think far better to hear it from Ben than to hear it from me. Okay, hi Damon and Carlton, if those are really your names. I've really been talking...
It actually isn't really your name.
Well, it is my name.
It is your name. It's the name that we call you.
It is. Well, it's my...
Yeah.
It's on my driver's license.
That's true.
I've recently been talking with some friends about what Season 6 will be like and how the story will turn. I think Jughead will become an integral part of Season 6, and I think your names reflect that. After all, you can't spell Carlton Cuse without nuclear and Damon Lindelof without landmine.
Wow. I think that we named an episode Jughead, and we made a big deal about Faraday basically saying, bury this bomb, to a 16 or 17-year-old girl named Ellie. So I can't imagine how any of that stuff would be important. Can you, Carlton? I mean, we wouldn't want to pay off any of that.
We have said on many occasions that The Stand was a big influence in our work. So
draw your own conclusions. Trash Can Man. Carlton.
Yes.
This is from Josh Atwood in Narragansett, Rhode Island. Hi. This isn't a question, but a suggestion. I was listening to Darlton in the most recent podcast saying that they couldn't fit the Hurley bird into the storyline. Why not have Hurley work at the Dharma Aviary in the 1970s? And while he's there, this bird gets attached to him and learns to say his name. Then the bird would presumably break loose and be flying around the jungle in 2004.
Oh, my God.
We got to hire this kid.
That is fantastic. I think, if there ever was to be a lost feature, that's where it starts.
There you go.
With the
Interior
bird getting...
Dharma Aviary.
And the bird gets out. Oh, that's awesome.
I just had to share that with you.
That was fantastic.
Next.
I love that. Okay. Basically, simple question that I was wondering if you guys could really settle quick. Why did Miles want exactly $3.2 million? Marshall from Vancouver, BC wants to know.
Fantastic question. Very specific number. Why 3.2? I would say that is a question that will be answered with great specificity before the end of the season. And it will be answered by Miles.
That's right. Which is cool, because I think that's one of those questions people thought, they're
Who
never
cares?
going to answer
They're never
that.
going to answer that.
Exactly.
Well, guess
No,
what, my
not
friends?
true.
Final question, Carlton. As a lifelong Red Sox fan, I'm loath to suggest this, but now that Jack is in 1977, I have a few questions. Number 1, will he be stuck in the 70s throughout 78? Number 2, is room 23 set up for satellite feed? That's where people get
Yes.
tortured. And number 3, if so, will you have either the Dharma Initiative or the Hostiles take him there and force him to watch the entire 78 season, the Boston Massacre, Bucky Dent's home run, and the Yankees eventually
my
World
God.
Series win? I think this would be a great tool to extract information from him and an excellent way to exploit Matthew Fox's ability to cry.
Well, Damon, thank you for sending that question into the podcast.
This is from Jeff F. in
Yes.
New York, New York.
Okay,
Yeah, Boston fan
Jeff,
indeed.
how much did you pay Jeff F. to send that question in?
I'm just saying.
I think that would be probably the extreme version of torture that we could ever come up with on Lost, would be to force some character to relive that.
Or just listen to our podcast.
Or listen to our podcast.
That's another way to go.
Exactly. I want to get on to these names.
Let's do it, Carlton.
Okay.
Let's just alternate.
All right. So basically,
Again, so this is the final scene, the final secret scene. Used to be named after bread products, then it became the rattlesnake, then it became the frozen donkey wheel. What will it be this year? You decide. Carlton, your first candidate.
My first candidate is from Sheila Mello, right here in Burbank, California,
Mm-hmm.
which is where we are. She says, you guys are probably able to plan almost as well as chimps. So I'm suggesting that the secret scene be called the Jupe.
The Jupe. Fantastic Jupe, for those of you who don't follow the podcast, is a monkey who will explain the show in the final episode of it, named after the character in the Jules Verne Mysterious Island. Okay, I did not have that pick. I must
Okay.
have overlooked it, but I think it's an excellent choice. My next choice comes from John Han in Panama City, Florida. His suggestion, baby diaper covered in barbecue sauce, with no explanation whatsoever. That's baby diaper covered in barbecue sauce. Draw your own conclusions.
Wow. I like that one. It was not on my list, however.
Yes.
This one, however, was on my list. I'm curious to see if you picked it. This is from Jim Hamilton in Redwood City, California. His idea is the fifth toe.
Loved it, and I did pick it.
Yes,
So that is so we actually have
Okay.
the fifth toe is a great one.
Okay, that's a
So,
good overlap.
it is.
Okay.
Hi, Damon and Carlton. I think it should be called the Exploding Pretzel Jar. Just imagine yourself finding a perfectly good jar of pretzels that you can't wait to open. Suddenly, as you approach, it explodes in a burst of white light, and you are sent backwards by a forceful shockwave. This goes on for many, many paragraphs. I think you should pick this name because pretzels are cool, and so are explosions, and who doesn't love jars? Matt Farley, State College, Pennsylvania. Matt,
Matt, you're in. I
the
didn't
Exploding
pick it, though.
Pretzel Jar.
My next choice, Damon, is from Guinevere in Cooper, Texas.
Okay.
And Guinevere's choice is the Twinkie,
Nice.
which I like. He said, I would imagine, like most Lost finales, it's multi-layered, surprising in the middle, satisfying for the moment, but ultimately leaves you wanting more.
Right, and has a half-life of 900 years.
But it is a. I believe it's
Thank
a
you,
bread.
Chris.
I believe it's a bread product.
Well,
Possibly, I think
I
there
think
is.
it's made in a lab.
But I like that. I like the Twinkie.
I guess the Twinkie people will not be sponsoring us. It is a great
That's
suggestion.
good. Did you have that one though?
I didn't have the Twinkie.
Okay.
My next one is from Jared Cummings in Mesa, Arizona. His suggestion: Jack gets pregnant. Jack gets pregnant, which oddly happens in the finale.
Wow.
So this is another kind
Maybe
of donkey
that's-
wheel suggestion. Next.
My next idea is from Brendan Miller in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and his idea was the droids you're looking for.
Love it. Love it. I didn't pick it. Wanted to. I was like, I don't know. It's a huge Star Wars shout out. Remember, Obi-Wan sort of waves his hand in front of a stormtrooper. He says, these are not the droids you're looking for, and he convinces him. So it feels like that one implies some degree of Jedi mind trickery on our parts, which is very flattering.
Which is cool. Yeah. Okay.
Carlton, I'm not ashamed to say that this is my favorite of the
Okay.
entire list. It comes from Brian O'Riordan from Cork, Ireland, and it's the hooded leprechaun. I don't know what it means, but it sounds a little dirty. And
It sounds really dirty.
and-
I mean,
and-
good God.
and knowing what the finale, what the last scene is, I just for some reason it just feels like that's the. If I were voting, I'd go hooded leprechaun.
Wow.
That's just me, and it came from a genuine Irish fan. So
Well, I did not have that on my list,
All right.
unfortunately. But my next choice on my list was from Dan Harris in New York, New York, and that is the Zombie Bake Sale.
Ooh. I like it.
The Zombie Bake Sale.
If it doesn't end up winning, I would like to buy a Twinkie there. My next one, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, comes from Tyler in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The Zygarnik, after the Soviet psychologist Bluma Zygarnik, who had the theory that people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. It's why your viewers love your cliffhanger ending so much. So I love the fact that we like to pick names on the show. A little research was done here.
That's good.
The Zygarnik.
Okay. I really have to just pitch two more. I don't know where we are total-wise, but I have two more that I really have to include, okay?
Okay.
This will be number 11.
Okay. This is from Zoe Tregulis. I can't pronounce your name, her last name Zoe, but she's from Durango, Colorado. And her pick was Smokey's Dorm Room.
Wow. Do you think the smoke monster has a black light in his dorm room? Thank you, Chris. I'm just killing.
I like that. I laughed.
I just think, your RA knocks on your door, is like, what's going on in there? It's the smoke monster. That's an excuse probably they haven't heard before. Well suggested.
And the final one I wanted to mention, because I just like the whole thing here, was from Homer in Boca Raton, Florida. And about the naming of the secret scene, I would like to suggest the Spanish Inquisition.
Ah, Monty Python.
Carlton explained the reason for the rattlesnake in the mailbox as that no one would expect a rattlesnake in the mailbox, well as the guys in Monty Python would tell you, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Bring out the pillows. Love it. The Spanish Inquisition, always a classic.
Okay, so those are good.
Those are good. So,
is that 11?
That's 12.
That's 12.
So I guess in the next podcast, you guys will now vote, and we'll narrow it down to say maybe the final 4. And then we're going to announce a champion, which will be sort of about like 3 weeks before the finale. So
that's
great suggestions, guys. If we didn't pick yours, it doesn't mean that
there were a lot of good
phenomenal ones. But as there were 10,000 submissions, apparently, we had to do what we do.
Can I just throw in, like, American Idol had 13? Can I just throw one more in for, like, just an extra
one? Oh,
like
a wild card?
A wild card pick.
Go for it.
That would be from Spindrift Beck in Dallas, Texas, and it's the fork in the outlet.
Yeah, I remember this one. The fork in the outlet.
Yeah, that was good.
Because what happens when you stick a fork in an electrical socket, Carlton?
It's shocking.
It is indeed. Well, why don't you demonstrate?
All right, boys, guys. Girls, fans,
gentlemen,
non-fans,
ladies,
chimpanzees everywhere. We're out of here.
We'll
Thank you so much.
See you in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this podcast. You can vote for your choice in the top 13 finalists at blogs.abc.com/asklost. We will count all votes starting at midnight on Friday, March 27th until Monday, March 30th at the end of the day. The results from those will then be narrowed down by Damon and Carlton in our next audio podcast. Until then, Whatever Happened Happened airs Wednesday, April 1st at 9 p.m. only on ABC.